there is a possibility of a shock going on here, and I just give a good account of ourselves. And if we play the way we can, have a good game, we've got every chance of doing something really surprising here. So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And this weekend, Birmingham City have a break from EFL League One action and a fantastic fourth round FA Cup tie at St.Andrews at KnightheadPark against Newcastle United from the Premier League. Now, the game is sold out and the atmosphere is going to be fantastic. Newcastle are going to bring a lot of fans with them. A very well-supported club, Newcastle, great fans, and I think they'll enjoy their time at St Andrews. And in this podcast, myself and Matt are going to preview the game, give our thoughts on Newcastle and Birmingham City, and really maybe have a bit of a discussion about who's going to be in the starting lineup. So I can ask you, Matt, what do you think about this game? But it's a big one, isn't it?
You can already tell by the smile on my face, can't you, that I'm just excited for it. I mean, literally, I'm so excited for this. It's not because we're playing a Premier League team. It's just the whole elements around it. It's going to be under the lights. It's a sellout. Me and you are going to Digbeth or surrounding areas for a couple of beers before, aren't we? So I'm going to enjoy the build-up. And we normally like to get to our seats, don't we, sort of half an hour before and just enjoy the atmosphere,
the Blues put a post out on their social media channels today. So be in your seats by 5:20. There's something special happening.
Yeah.
And, you think, I wonder what that is. And you'll probably get there and the DJ's playing Who Let the Dogs Out. That's the special. But you don't know with Blues, do you? I think it's mainly designed to do that. And this is obviously a lesson for all of our Blues fans as well, is to get there early, because a lot of people are going to have the actual tickets that you've got to scan. And I think last time, if you got get there too late, there's often queues at the turnstiles, isn't there?
That's it. Yeah,
and I think they're trying to encourage people. So get there. If you've not been to St Andrews for a while, get there early. There's loads of stuff to do around the ground now that never used to be there before. We've got the fan zone on one side of the ground by the Royal George. There's a fan zone in the Cop car park, and there's loads of food outlets and drinks, and even if you get into the ground early, all the bars and the food outlets are great places to be, isn't it?
Yeah. It's almost like you work there.
Yeah, 10% commission, please. but what I'm saying is, you can get there early and have a good time as well, can't you? You don't need to wait till the last minute and risk being in the queues.
I think that's one of the biggest impacts Knighthead have had. They've made, and they promised they would do this at the start. They've changed the matchday experience for Blues fans, haven't they? Completely. Yeah. We love the fan zones, don't we, Dad? We love having we get slated in the comments, but we love Neck Oil, don't we? Really big fans of it. And just coming back to my original point, Dad, under the lights, good atmosphere. The Newcastle fans are great. I'm sure they'll bring a lot of noise, and they've got the whole, I think, of the Lower Gilmerrick.
I think they've got the Lower Gilmerrick, and they're bound to bring a lot of noise with them, and I think that'll be great, because it'll up the atmosphere, and will be brilliant as well. So I can't wait. So I feel like a kid at Christmas.
I was just about to say Friday night's going to feel like Christmas Eve. I can't wait either. And I've got family up in the northeast. I've got a relative who lives in sister-in-law who lives in Sunderland.
Oh, don't say that, Newcastle fans. They'll be giving you pelters.
But when you go to Sunderland and spend time with it, you know how much they love their football in that part of the country. Newcastle's the same, Sunderland, Middlesbrough, they all love their football in that part of the country. So passionate fans. I'm sure they'll bring. We'll have a good bit of banter back and forth, Dad. And I think the stadium's going to be rocking this time, because we're going to be the underdogs. We're not expected to actually win this
First time this season.
For the first time this season. And I think the reason why the atmosphere has been so flat is because we are dominating games with teams that just put 11 men behind the ball at St Andrews. Newcastle aren't going to do that. Yeah. So I think we're going to get a really good atmosphere this weekend.
I was going to make that point as well, which I think is ever so valid, because every game we've played this season, maybe apart from the Carabao Cup against Fulham, which we had early in the season, we've been favourites, because every team has come to beat us, haven't they? But this will be a reverse. I think that will help us. Hopefully, we'll surprise Newcastle, because we're flying at the top of League One. We've got a completely different team to what we've had for many years, and really decent players. But having said that, Newcastle United are a top Premier League club. And let's not discount that. We don't know what their team selection will be, but I'll talk about that in a minute, because I've done a comparison of the team that they put out in the last round against Bromley.
Isn't it a bit pot kettle black, Dad, talking about money and finances? all we've had from League One teams this season is, you spent this, you spent that. But then it is a valid point, isn't it? But that's the next tier, the 2 tiers up. When you hit the Champions League or European teams in the Premier League,
Yeah, it is different levels. I mean,
no,
we get stick. If Newcastle fans are watching this, we get stick every game from fans of opposition because we spent allegedly £15 million on Jace Stansfield and our players cost X amount. But your players, 50, 60, 70 million, some of them,
Yeah.
So it's just levels, isn't it?
I said that tongue in cheek. I was joking, but when you look at their salaries and look at like Trippier, Isaac, and all their players, it is like you are going to play the elite level of English football, aren't you?
Yeah, and a great game. I mean, obviously, we know a lot about Newcastle because they're a Premier League team, and we all watch a lot of Premier League football. They're on. They will play a 4-3-3 system. That is their system that they play. Eddie Howe's played that 24 times this season.
4-3-3.
4-3-3. I'm pretty. That's quite attacking, isn't it? Because they can be.
Yeah.
Now, on current form, Newcastle have won 7 and lost 3, but they've lost 2 of the last 3, so they've been on a good run and they've had a little bit of a blip. I think they got hammered at home by Bournemouth in one of those games.
They're playing right now, Dad. By the way, at the time of recording, me and Dad are in the studio. They're playing Arsenal
Carabao
Cup right now. So I don't know what the score is, but
they won the first leg 2-0 at Arsenal.
They did.
So they could already be at Wembley by the time they come to.
Exactly.
Well, I hope they're not at Wembley. They're supposed to be at St Andrews, but you know what I mean. Birmingham City's current form in the last 10 games, won 7 and drawn 3. So we haven't we were 18 games unbeaten in our league. We've only lost 2 games all season. Just a bit on Newcastle, which I think is in terms of. Obviously, I'm comparing where they are in the Premier League. They currently sit 6th in the Premier League on 41 points. They are about mid-table in terms of goals scored. No, they're slightly higher. So they scored 40, 43 or 42 goals in their 24 games. And they've got a good defence. So they've got the 6th best defence. So they're good going forward and good in defence. What will be interesting about this game is they obviously are going to come at us.
Yeah.
Right? No team has really done that all season. Not a single. Yeah, a few teams have had a go, like Stockport I can think of in the second half at their place, Mansfield in the second half at their place, but no team has really
Wrexham in the second half.
Yeah, Wrexham as well. Yeah, but no team's had a real go at us for the whole game, have they?
Yeah,
Newcastle will do that.
I think we're going to get a taste of our own medicine, Dad, because what's one of the biggest features we've seen this season from Blues?
Possession.
And energy.
Yeah.
So, when we press from the front. Newcastle do exactly the same. And, when you've got Isaac bearing down,
if he plays.
Exactly, yeah. That's a very good point, Dad. Do you think Eddie Howe might play a weakened team? Do you think he might rotate? I think it'll be 50-50. He'll play maybe 5 or 6 or 7 maybe senior players who are first teamers. Then he might
he'll
rotate
play,
3 or 4 positions.
It depends how seriously he takes the game.
Yeah.
If he listens to Alan Shearer, he'll play his under 21s because apparently we're just going to be
cannon fodder.
Oh yeah, cannon fodder. That's a term he used, wasn't it?
Yeah. Or someone used that term.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that it depends. Obviously, Bromley are a League 2 team when they played them, and they made a number of changes for that. It depends on how. Now, this is the FA Cup. Don't forget. So I think they will take this seriously. It's a cup that they will want to win. Because realistically, are they going to win the Premier League? No. They're a good team and they're going to be up towards the top, but they ain't going to win the Premier League at the moment.
They're not.
They could be in the final of the Carabao Cup by the time they play us. They were 2-0 up in the first leg. But I'll say by the time this video goes out, that will be known because it's being played at the moment. But this is the FA Cup, so I think they'll play a stronger. In my opinion, I think they'll play a stronger team, and I think they'll take us seriously because they would have done the homework on us. Yeah. So even though we're in League One, they're going to know we're not going to be a pushover.
Well, just coming back to Alan Shearer, because I can't let this go. Actually, he did this before 15, 20 years ago, and he came to St Andrews. He missed a penalty right in front of the Tilton, and we won.
I remember.
Yeah, we were there.
I hate that. I mean, it's like when either former players or even players of your own team say something really silly that just motivates the other team.
It's kind of like, remember Charlton and Bielek?
Yeah.
Bielek said about us, being too good for League One, and apparently the Charlton players put his picture up in the changing room.
Well, it was before Charlton. He said that, and that's what motivated them.
Yeah.
And this is what Alan Shearer's done. And Alan Shearer is a Newcastle legend.
He's a donut.
But well, he is for saying something like that. But can't fault what a good player he was. Just a few strengths. I mean, obviously we're talking Premier League here, but some of the strengths of Newcastle creating chances with through balls. So we're going to have to watch that. They're very strong at that, so they're quite incisive in their passing. We've seen it in their matches. Finishing, scoring chances. We'll come on to their goal scorers in a minute. Attacking down the wings, coming back from losing positions as well. So they're quite a resilient team. Weaknesses, there's not many. Avoiding offsides, defending against attacks down the wings, and defending against long shots.
I'll tell you where they are weak as well, Dad, and I've seen this live on the telly a few times, and this is a double-edged sword of the high press. So when they lose the ball, Trippier, Dan Burn, a lot of their defence, they push high to get the ball back immediately. And we've seen it at Blues a few times this season. When we lose it, we push high.
Yeah.
But what I've seen a few teams do, the smart teams, the clever teams, they go back in the empty spaces behind the fullbacks. So if Newcastle come at us and they lose the ball and they press at us too intensely, they're too eager, we could get Keshi, Stano, Wright in the pockets behind the fullbacks. That I've done quite a lot of research on Newcastle in terms of I watch a lot of Premier League football anyway. We all do, don't we? Especially on the Sundays. And but the reason why it's a double-edged sword is because they're very effective at getting the ball back. So actually, they probably get the ball back more than you can exploit them. But it is an area that we could look at.
Yeah.
If they press too intensely, we need to break it and go on the attack.
This is why I think that when we come to our team selection, I think Chris Davis is going to look at the fast players. But we'll come on to that in a second as well. They spent money. Their arrivals this season, Lewis Hall, they bought from Chelsea for 33 million. They bought Willan Osula from Sheffield United for 11.6. They bought a guy called Adesny, and again, my glasses will have to get this right. I can't even pronounce his name. Vlachodonius or something like that. He cost 23.6 million from Nottingham Forest. Basically, they have and they've obviously overseas and spent loads and loads of money.
Can't buy the league.
The reason I'm saying this is because obviously these are the top teams and this is the levels of money. We've seen teams spending in the Premier League spending 50, 60, 70 million.
Yeah, they do,
and we're in League One and we've spent 15 million, which is unprecedented. For
and we're getting slated. Yeah. It's funny, isn't it?
We will do because I think it's
context, isn't it?
It is contest in terms of our opposition, but their leading goal scorer, we're no surprise, Alexander Isak, 17 goals this season so far. Then Anthony Gordon, who I like Anthony Gordon as well. He's a left winger. He's got 6 goals. Harvey Barnes, 5 goals. That surprised me when I saw him in their top scorers because I know that he plays, but I don't know if he's an absolute regular. Jacob Murphy, 4 goals, and Joe Linton has got 4 goals. Assists, Jacob Murphy on the right wing. So obviously a lot of supply comes down that right wing. He's got 7 assists.
Wow.
So obviously Cochrane or whoever's playing left back is going to have to be on their toes with him. Bruno Guimaraes, I think, another great player.
He's class. He's the engine room in the middle, isn't he? He's classy.
He's like the Mark Leonard of the team. But he's a good player. He's
kind of a mix between Paik and Awata. He's got kind of both skill sets. He breaks up the play, but he's also a good passing forward.
For me, I think he's the key to making everything work in their team when he's playing. He's got 6 assists. Isaac himself, he's got 5 assists. Alexander Isaac and scored 17 goals. So I don't think Blues fans particularly would need to know.
No, exactly.
The most Blues fans are going to be aware of their goal scoring threats, but obviously they've got Nick Pope in goal. He's a top goalkeeper, and their front line, Jacob Murphy, Alexander Isaac, and Anthony Gordon is absolutely frightening. But that's if they all play. Yeah. So what I did was I looked at the Newcastle team that played Bromley in the FA Cup, and there were a few changes in there. So you can clear by the players that still played. So in that team, they had Martin Dubravka in goal, who's their first choice goalkeeper after. Well, it's not first choice. Second choice after Pope. Trippier was in there. Fabian Schär, Kelly, Matt Targett, Scott Longstaff. Is it Sean Longstaff? Yeah. That's it. Joe Linton, Amaron, who's gone now. And Asula and Harvey Barnes. So there were some changes, but they had the firepower on the bench. I think against Birmingham City, Matt, that they will pick a strong team. Yeah. Clearly, they're the same as us in terms of the fixtures they've got because they've got league games coming up as well. So we're the same. So after this game, we've got Cambridge United at home on the Tuesday, which is a big league game for us because we want to keep ourselves at the top of the league. So it's going to be a bit of an issue for both managers in terms of what do they do with their team selections. Yeah. But I personally think that Newcastle will pick a strong team.
I'd love full strength against full strength, Dad. We do have players out. We have Paik who's on the injury table. Not too sure whether he'll be back in time. I don't think he will he, Paik? But
Paik won't be.
We do have our own injuries. I get that as well. And Newcastle have got a busy schedule. So you say managers get paid a lot of money to make those sort of decisions, don't they? So I just want a sense check, and I think a lot of Blues fans have said this day. In the cup draws, a lot of Blues fans were hoping for a championship team because obviously that's a bit closer to where we are. If we were just being realistic for 1 second here, but obviously Newcastle, top end Premier League team. This is a real good sense check just to see where we are, and no one expects us to win it anyway. So the point of me making that point is to say, we don't fear anyone, do we, Dad, on the podcast? We respect them and we are fair, but we don't fear anyone. And I don't want us to pay Newcastle too much respect. I don't want us to sit in our own half. We won't do that anyway, but, I think we might sit a little bit deeper to absorb the pace, but I don't want us to do what League One teams have done to us and just sit back and hope to catch them on the attack. I want to go at them and play it. Actually, the way Newcastle play, Dad, it will play into our hands, I think. I mean, does that mean it's going to be end-to-end? No, I think we will be under the cosh a fair amount, but we have the chance here to actually show what we're made of against a team who's going to be progressive, they're going to press high. We have the chance to break through the press, show our skills, put Chris Davies' ball into full momentum, and let's not pay him any respect. Let's go at him.
I think so, and I think that's the best we can do. At the end of the day, for us, this like teams say to us, this is a free hit for us.
Yeah, this really is a free hit, though.
Because I think everybody expects us to lose this game. Outside of Birmingham will expect us to lose this game, and some would expect us to lose the game heavily. We hope that, with our team, we'll surprise Newcastle, because they won't maybe be expecting what we are now and what type and style of football we play. But ultimately, it's about goals. And Newcastle do score a lot of goals. So, as I say, if you go back before we come on to the team selection, which we'll do next, just to reiterate their form. So they won 2, 4, 6 in a row, lost 1, won 1 and lost 1. So that's their last 9 games. They've won 7 and lost 2. So they had a run above, just above that, of 6 games in a row, which they run. They beat Leicester 4-0 at home. They beat Ipswich 4-0 away. Then they beat Villa 3-0. At home, 2-0 Manchester United away, Tottenham 2-1 away, and then Wolves 3-0 at home. Then, really surprisingly, they lost 4-1 at home to Bournemouth.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Then they beat Southampton 3-1 away, and their last game they lost 2-1 at home to Fulham. So they've obviously had this fantastic run of form, and then these last few results have tailed off a little bit. But I think that this is a clean slate for both teams. Yeah, and I think it's going to be a really, really intriguing game.
Also, I mean, don't get me wrong. Newcastle are a good team, lots of money, big in the Premier League, but they're not invincible. They're a beatable. They are a beatable team. We can win this game. I genuinely believe that. But I've just highlighted a few areas to exploit here, or a few areas where we could be good. I think we have to make more of our set pieces. At League One level, we can get away with it a little bit because we are pounding the rock, as Chris Davies calls it, and we do end up kind of getting that goal in those scrappy performances we've been seeing. But when you're playing a team like Newcastle, if you get a corner, a free kick,
they got good defenders as well. That Dan Burn, if he plays, he's massive. He's really tall as well, isn't he? And apparently, I heard one time the crossbar broke and they used him. but he's a big lad, and he is. Then you're going to get that centre half. But like I think you're right. I think there are. This could be a game where we could surprise Newcastle.
He's a Geordie as well. I think he's like really. I think he's really popular with the fans, Dan Burn. I think we can exploit him at the back in terms of, like I mentioned earlier, when they press high. We could do a little dink over the top, maybe get behind those fullbacks when they press forward, and breaking their press as well. This will be tough. This will be a real challenge because we've messed up a couple of times this season. We're playing out from the back, and also when we have played out from the back and broke the press, we haven't got the speed. I don't think this season to really go. Whereas for this game, if we break the press, we have to keep the momentum going because they'll get the ball back. Because their energy is going to match ours on Saturday. So that's another area to exploit. Break the press, look at their weaknesses, and hopefully get in through the back and stretch them wide as well. And again, it comes back to that, like Kieran Trippier on the one side, Dan Burn. Whoever might be playing on the fullback position, let's get wide. It's another chance to use and exploit that, I think. And we're good down the wings. If Keshi starts, Dad, we'll talk about Blues in a minute. I think we could do some damage down the wings.
Well, Chris Davies is a tactician. He does his homework on these teams, and he'll know what and how they might want to play. But so should we get onto the Blues team?
Yeah, let's do it.
This is tough now because this is a cup game, and obviously our priority, regardless of what happens here, is always the league. It's promotion. We're currently 4 points ahead. Ahead of the second place team with 2 games in hand, and 8 points ahead of the third place team with 2 games in hand. And the league is the priority. It's about getting out of League One, getting back to the Championship. So it's interesting to see what Chris Davies does with this team. I
think a lot of fans would agree with you, Dad, and I agree with you that the league's the priority. 5:30 kickoff on a Saturday on Sky. It's against a Premier League team. I have no doubt Chris Davies will play the fullest strength he has in my opinion, at his disposal.
Okay, so who do you think that'll be then? So let's just start from the back if you like.
Yeah, let's do it. So Allsop in goal.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a given. Cochrane left back.
Yeah.
Davies left side of centre back. Clara right side of centre back. And I've gone back for Laird at right back because of pace.
Yeah, that's our best back line, that is.
Yeah. Because you might think about Bielek, Dad, just from like a positioning and a physical point of view, but I think Newcastle have got too much speed and Laird is quite quick.
Yeah.
But I think his instruction won't be as aggressively to be so high up, although that's what Laird gives us. That's his best attribute. I think Davies might say, pump the brakes a little bit, because if he goes too high, we have been caught out down that side, haven't we, with pace?
Yeah. And they've got Anthony Gordon on the left wing as well. He's fast as well. So if we leave spaces down there, they're going to exploit, aren't they? I do agree with that. But then because this is a cup game, we've got also options to put Bielek in there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't sniff at Bielek, Dad. I like Bielek.
Yeah, and obviously as on the left back, he won't start, but he'll be on the bench. He'll be Mung Jae Lee, I think, the new signing. I think he'll be on the possibly on the bench, because we can have 9 substitutes, you see. Okay, so in midfield then.
So as always, Dad, midfield upwards, go through the whole line.
Yeah.
Start with the 2 centre mids, the attacking line.
I'm assuming that Paik is still not back.
Yeah.
So I'm going for Awata and Taylor Gardner-Hickman in the middle.
Okay.
I know that you might think Leonard might be but I think because TDH didn't play against in the last game against Stevenage.
He's worked his heart out, hasn't he? Like he needs a rest, I would say, TGH. So.
Yeah, so I think I've gone for Taylor Gardner-Hickman in the middle, because he's just an engine room, isn't he? And a Water who'll give us that bit of steel in there. He'll come up against Gimerech and give him a good game as well.
Yeah.
I've gone for Anderson on the left and Scott Wright on the right. Then I've gone for Dowling at number 10 and Stansfield at number 9.
Nice. So we agree across everything, Dad, apart from I've swapped out TGH for Leonard.
Yeah, that was really my dilemma. That was, but I think in this game we need a lot of energy, and not that Leonard don't give us energy.
I think after what we saw against Stevenage and his performances this season, I think Leonard gives us the ability to unlock. I think Awata and TGH are too similar.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I completely take your point, because it's Newcastle and we want that fight in the middle, that battle. I mean, you're not going to pick 2 better players for that than TGH and Awata, but I think that for I don't know, something about maybe a creative spark, playing the play. When I talk about getting behind the fullbacks when they press too high, in my opinion, Leonard's the one who's putting the pass in.
Yeah, I thought about him and I thought, if Leonard is picked, I wouldn't be disappointed. No. But I just feel for this game, it's about energy. And not that Leonard doesn't give us energy, but TGH gives us more. Taylor Gardner-Hickman, he gives, in my opinion. So we sort of gone for the same. Have you gone for Dowling at number 10 as well?
Yeah, I've gone Keshi on the left, Dowell in the middle, in the 10, and right on the left, on the right. Sorry.
Yeah.
That should be easy to say, shouldn't it? Right on the right.
I hope we don't saw a player called left. That really confuses us. Left on the right on the left.
It's like airplane.
Yeah.
In the cockpit.
Yeah. On the bench, because we got 9. Obviously, got Bailey Peacock, Fowl, Samstead will be on the bench.
Yeah.
Bielek, Myung Jae Lee, Harris, Dykes, Yuki and May.
Is there replays in the FA Cup?
No.
It has to be a result on the night.
It'll be
extra time penalties.
Is it just? I don't know if it's extra time. I'll have to check. But
there will be in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
I think it's the
there is.
It's the EFL Trophy where they just go straight.
That confuses me. That competition. Yeah, it'll be extra time and penalties. So that's what we think about the team. So do you want to say anything else, or do you want to give a score prediction?
No, just I think that we need to be brave. We need to be organised. We need to be composed. Because again, I don't want the boys to be scared of Newcastle, but we still need to be sensible. We do have to acknowledge that there's going to be a quality gap here, just in terms of expense, money, salary, and all these things. But we have enough here to cause them a lot of problems and issues. With a home team, St.Andrews will be absolutely bouncing. Blues fans, if you're there, let's make as much noise as we possibly can on the night, and I think we could shock them here.
Yeah, there is a possibility of a shock going on here, and I just give a good account of ourselves. And if we play the way we can, have a good game, we've got every chance of doing something really surprising here, in my opinion.
So I don't think people are going to like my score predictions. Let's start with yours.
Okay, I've gone for now. If Newcastle fans are watching this, defensively we're strong, aren't we? But obviously we're talking about League One. And Newcastle fans, well, you're playing League One teams, you're not playing Newcastle United. But I think we will concede in this game. I've gone for 2-2 after 90 minutes. And I'm going to go for Blues to win on penalties.
You got to be joking. Yeah. I've gone 1-1 after 90 minutes and Blues to win on penalties. I swear to God. Look at that down the bottom.
You have as well.
Yeah. But so you think there'll be two goals for each team?
I think 2-2.
I've gone for 1-1. And if we're going after the Stevenage game, I'll be right.
You will.
I'm totally joking. My score predictions are awful, so
Yeah,
don't put any. Don't trust me whatsoever. But 1-1 in 90 minutes. Blues on penalties.
Yeah, actually, what do you think, Birmingham City supporters? A fantastic game for us to look forward to. Teams work hard to get. Don't forget, we entered the FA Cup at round 1 as well, so we've done all the hard work to enjoy this game. I'm so pleased we've drawn a really fantastic Premier League club. Really looking forward to it. Atmosphere is going to be brilliant, and let's hope we can pull off. And it would be a shock if we win, because Newcastle are a top team, aren't they? But love to get your opinions, Blues fans. Let us know what you think by adding comments below. What you think about the team's selection for Blues, or maybe what you think the score prediction will be. And Newcastle United fans as well. On this podcast, we also welcome comments from teams of the away fans as well. So please add your comments below, and let us know your thoughts on the game and what you think. And I think when you come to St Andrews, you'll find a very different St Andrews from many years ago. It's all been repaired, and it's a great stadium now. So add your comments below and let us know. If you did like this podcast, then don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't checked us out on our social media channels already, then pop along to our X page and our Instagram page. And if you like to watch or listen to your podcasts on Spotify, you can do that now. And you see the handles appearing on the screen for all of these channels right now. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button to make sure you catch future videos. And if you do want notifications, hit the little bell next to the subscribe button. Well, that's it for this podcast. Really looking forward to it. And myself and Matt will see you on the next podcast, all about Birmingham City.